Hello, Reality Rangers listeners. This is something different to the format of the podcast. We're having our first ever guest. This person is a comedian, a writer, a singer. Please welcome alumni of Big Brother Quebec and Traitors Canada Season 2, Tranna Wintour.
Hi.
Tranna, it's so nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So you were on Season 2 of Traitors Canada, and you came just so close to winning. You were second place, the runner-up to Netta. This may be a hot take. I'm not a Tranna was doing so much wrong. I'm more of a, this is just such a testament to Netta's game. And, do you think any of the Traitors right now are on Netta's level?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I really don't think so. I think my season gets criticized for being so loud and wrong, and I think we still hold the record for the most episodes before we got a traitor out.
This is true.
But that is a testament not only to Netta, but also to Kira,
Yes.
and even to a certain extent Michael John, and I think that they, especially for the first half of the game, we're really working together. I don't think Michael John ever really knew what was happening. But he was at least smart enough to just kind of go along with Kira and Netta, who were so good.
He didn't push back too much.
No, and I think that was really smart. And because the only time, really, if you look at almost every season across all the franchises, 9 times out of 10, the only time faithfuls catch a traitor is when there is traitor on traitor violence, or when a traitor self-implodes. Like on this season, we saw Kevin just kind of really lose it at the round table, and it was just so glaringly obvious. I don't think that that's necessarily because these faithfuls are better than us. I think it's actually because...
As much as Hollywood Jade likes
yes,
to put it.
And I love Hollywood, but I really do think he's wrong. I really do think he's wrong. I think his read on Venus is really impressive.
Yes.
But I think that collectively, the faithfuls on this season aren't really any smarter than any other season. It's just that I think that, Kevin just really exploded everything, Again, there's so little to go on in the game. And so when a traitor sort of blows up their own game, or even when you catch that first traitor, that's really all you have to work with. And that's why I find it so surprising that on this season, they've chosen to just completely disregard everything else Kevin said.
Exactly.
I don't understand how they're ignoring the Coco thing. I know that Coco is doing an amazing job.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't want to take any credit away from the amazing job that she's doing. But also at the same time, I think them ignoring everything that Kevin said and did, and not even venging Omer, that's dumber. That's dumber than anything we ever did on my season.
Right, because with your season, obviously you weren't getting the traitors, but there was not that little nugget of information to go off of that Netta or Kira put out.
We never saw it as traitor on traitor violence because we never thought Kira was.
Right. As much as she was, fuming in the conclave whenever she had to do something with Michael John, she was good at her timing, I think, is what it really was. Is she held her breath, she held her tongue, and then when she knew the numbers were there to get Michael John out,
exactly.
She took the hit, yeah.
And that was my biggest mistake in the game, is literally not following what I just said, because when Michael John was proven to be a traitor, and then Kira was, it is literally so obvious that Netta is. It's literally 1 + 1 = 2. One traitor handed you the next. But I think that, and this is the thing, and it's easy for me, even as a former participant, to not criticize because this is just a stupid game,
right.
But to look at this current season and sort of point out their mistakes. But you have to understand too that, and this is the proof that the game is so much harder than it looks, even though the equation is 9 times out of 10 literally as simple as 1 + 1 = 2, there's so many other factors like exhaustion.
Right.
You're literally so tired and burned out by this unbelievably heightened emotional experience that you can't even think straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the manner, even though 1 plus 1 equals 2 is so simple, it actually becomes so much more complex because there's all of these feelings too, and you have relationships with these people and you're blinded by your affection for these people. Like, and I think like I made the same mistake on my season of Big Brother. Like, I think that I just get too into the friendships and the fun of the friendships that I lose sight of the game.
Which friendships and those social connections are definitely a valuable asset in those games like Survivor and Big Brother, but it's hard when it comes to the traders when there is those distinct roles, and if you're a trader, you've got to manipulate those friendships. So it's hard. You want to be able to trust people, but like I said, like I try to make the equation, or I try to equate it to Survivor. In Survivor, you're trying to build up respect for your game, but in the traders, it's all about building that trust. And you did what you had to do. You built those good relationships with people like Netta, but it just so happened to be that you built it with a traitor.
Exactly. And I think also, again, part of the challenge that I had, and I think that we all had, is that no one was ever really saying Netta's name seriously. The only person that was really on to Netta, especially by the end, was Lori. And,
Right.
but she never really shared that theory with me, but I wasn't blinded by my friendship to Netta to the point where I wouldn't have listened to that theory, you
Yeah, so
know?
if it was brought up to you earlier, do you think you would have, given it that time of day? Maybe like before the
Absolutely.
Kira vote?
Maybe not before the Kira vote, but after the Kira vote. I wish Lori would have literally just sat me down and been like, Tranna, look, why did we get Michael John? Because Kira threw him under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Why did we get Kira? Because Netta's the one that told us. If she would have just sat me down and literally said that to me, I would have been like, oh my God, Lori, you're so right. But let's not say anything. Let's make Netta continue to believe that we're with her. Let's get to the final fire with Netta, and then you and me will win, Lori.
Right. And so
And
who?
that haunts me and Lori forever. Like, me and Lori have spoken about this so many times. Like, the path to the victory for the two of us, like, we had so many paths to that victory. Like, we could have even worked with Kevin and then blindsided him. Like, Lori and I, if we had just worked together a bit more, and it's too bad because we really were so close on a personal level.
Yeah.
But again, the game just moves so fast. I think with Kevin, I really believe that there was a good chance that he was a traitor.
Mm-hmm.
I think that at the round table, it kind of became clear that he wasn't. Even though he didn't reveal his identity and neither did Cedric, I think we all kind of felt that we knew that Kevin and Cedric were probably faithful. I think also one of the other things that hurt me and Lori especially is that after that back-to-back roundtable, we were not allowed to talk anymore.
Right.
But I think that if we would have been allowed just to have one more conversation before the fire, we would have gotten it. Look at
Or
like season 1. And I'm blanking on her name right now. I feel
Gerline or
Yes,
Donna?
Gerline.
Gerline.
She had it right the whole game. She
Exactly.
had it right all the way up to the fire and just doubted herself at the last minute. I think the only thing that like I can sort of take solace in, well, there's a few things. One is that, Kevin was really courting me and Lori to go to the end with him, but I just could never fully trust him.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was wrong. I should have trusted him, but my gut was wrong and told me not to. But I think that hypothetically, if I had put my trust in Kevin and I was wrong,
That would have hurt
I
even more.
it would have hurt even more. Whereas because me and Netta were so close, being wrong to her is less painful,
Right. And then it also wouldn't have been like, oh, I just made the same exact mistake that Gerline made one season prior.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like, you know what? I made a choice and I stuck with it. It was the wrong one, but I think sometimes it's better to bet on your first instinct. I think the chances with your first instinct are always higher. But I will say, if I ever do get the chance to do this again, as a fan and as a former participant, like I've really learned from my mistakes.
Yeah?
And and maybe I'm still being delusional, but I really do think that I could win it because, and I think for anyone listening to this, like if they're ever going to participate on the Traitors, literally the only thing you have to go on, the only concrete thing in this game is traitor on traitor violence. Everything else is speculation.
Right.
Like when you're going on vibes or you're going off of something someone said or did, or you have a theory. Like Kara had that weird theory about why people volunteered to get off the boats. Like all of that is nonsense.
Right. And I
The
always talk about, like, on the podcast, it's like you can be right, you can have the right solution, but you're using the wrong equation.
Yes, exactly. But as soon as you get your first traitor, you're out of the dark,
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's so funny about this current season is that they got their first traitor. He gave them basically all the answers and they're ignoring it. So I think that we actually did something really smart in terms of cornering the traders at the end.
Right.
I really do think that that is the ideal scenario. It's just that unfortunately we were not doing that intentionally.
Exactly.
But I think that if we had been more intentional, if we once we had gotten Michael John out, the next day, that's when Netta started coming for Kira. What we should have all done is just voted out Cedric. And we should have kept Netta and Kira. And like we got Michael John out. That I think is necessary because you need to have that proof. And then as soon as Michael John was out, because of Kira, then Netta started coming for Kira. So it's like, boom, we got our two traitors.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's only 6 of us left.
Yeah.
Like we know that the rest of us are clearly faithful when you look at all of the collective behavior and all of the shit that went down in the game. Like if we were being more intentional or again just more on the ball, that we would have been in the best position I think of any other season because we would have really had like as certain as you can be. But again, all of these things, even the most straightforward things, just they end up just getting so twisted in this game.
Mm-hmm. No, I am a Tranna truther. I think in another universe, you are our first Big Brother winner of the Traitors.
Oh, thanks. I don't know if everyone would agree with you, but I will take that.
People with taste will agree with me.
But I think that I do agree with you because I think that, like, I'm a comedian, I'm an entertainer, and me and Netta have discussed this also many times. Like, I think in a weird way, we both got exactly what we wanted. Like,
Right.
Netta is a game player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's not an actress. She's not in show business. She is a game player. She's there for the love of the game, and she really came to win. Like, I'm sure you know of her like giant binder
Her
with all of
playbook, yeah.
her playbook, her literal playbook. It like physically exists,
I want to buy that if I ever go on the Traitors. I'm going to lend
I
that.
mean, it's valuable for sure.
It's golden.
But she came to win. Like when I'm talking about being intentional, that's exactly what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
She was intentional. And I think that's the big difference between her and I is that like she really came as a gamer and almost like as a scholar of the game.
Yes.
Where I came into it more as a fan of the game. And also I was an alternate, so I found out like
Oh.
really late that I was doing it. So I didn't have time to like rewatch everything.
So
you know what I mean?
You were a fan of the Traitors, but you weren't, studying with your notes open.
No, exactly. But if I had had more time, I might have done that. Although, to be honest, I hate homework. So
Me
I don't
too.
even know if I had more time, if I would have actually done that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy that there are some people like Meredith who clocked Coco so early who are now saying that they've totally taken Coco off their list.
I don't get how you could ever take someone off your list who was on your list to begin with.
Well, exactly. And I think that I liked that Venus in this last episode pointed that out to Meredith. Like, I don't think that we should ever take Coco permanently off the list. Like, that, obviously Venus is saying that as a traitor who knows that Coco is a traitor. But I
Right.
think that, like, a smart faithful, like, that's what they would say. And I think that that's also one of the big mistakes that I made. And, like, one of the biggest lessons that I've learned for this game in particular. Like, if we're strictly talking gameplay, you should never take anyone off your list completely. you should always have at least a 10% suspicion on everyone. And I think that at the end of the day, as a faithful, you kind of need to go through the list of everyone and give yourself at least one reason why every single person there could be a traitor.
Right.
Because my mistake, like, I did not do that. Like, I literally did rule people out completely, two of whom were traitors.
Was it
like,
Kira and Netta?
No, it was Michael John.
Really?
Because I thought this guy is so lost. I'm like, he has never watched a single episode of The Traitors in his life. I'm not even sure he knows where he is. So I'm just like, there's not a chance that this guy would be chosen as a traitor. It's impossible. So I literally ruled him out completely. And with Netta, this is the other thing that I'll say about Netta. And I don't know if I've ever really said this before, but like, you know, obviously there's everything that you see in the show,
But
but
so
there's
much you
all the
don't.
stuff that you don't see.
Yeah.
And like me and Netta were often brought to breakfast together.
Oh.
So often Netta would be the first person that I would see in the morning. And we weren't allowed to talk, but the way that we would interact non-verbally was like this sort of mutual, like, oh my God, I'm so happy you're here. I was so scared that you wouldn't be here. Because, and even though she's not an actress, like, Netta did a really good job of making it feel like she was so, like, scared and so relieved every morning to be there, you know? Like, we really had this bond, and even though, like, Netta never really spoke much at the round tables until it came time to come for Kira, like, Netta and I always talked about the game. You know, like Netta shared like theories with me. So like I never felt like Netta was quiet. I never saw her that way, you know? I just saw her as someone who like was nervous to talk at the round table, which I understood because the round table is extremely intimidating. I've said it already, but I'll just stress it again. And we saw this with Kevin because I listened to some of Kevin's exit interviews.
Yeah.
And he talked about having like heat stroke that day. And like, you know, again, when you're exhausted or literally having heat stroke or like your brain is not thinking properly. And you know, the parts of your brain that sort of censor yourself are sort of out the window, you know? Like even like basically what I'm trying to say is that like when you're that tired, you're more vulnerable and your guard is down. So you're much more prone to emotions like anger and sadness because there's nothing holding you back.
And probably more vulnerable to persuasion. I
Yes.
think a lot of people would say, "Oh, Survivor is harder because of the harsher physical elements, and Big Brother is harder because you spend way more time in the house and it's like a marathon." I think Traitors is hard because if you're faithful and you don't have a shield, you are probably losing a lot of sleep at night and you're not operating on full like energy.
Exactly. And I'm sure the game is designed that way, you know? And you're right, like Big Brother is a marathon, but the Traitors is a sprint.
Yes.
And, you know, sprints come with their own challenges. And I think, like, I mean, I can't really speak for Netta, but I'm pretty sure she did say this, like, we both felt that, like, this was much harder than Big Brother.
Yeah, being the two Big Brother alumni in the house, you would be able to compare and contrast.
Yeah, and even like for Canada, like Traitors Canada, it's the same producers that do the Quebec Big Brother, and they told me they're like Traitors is going to be more intense, and I didn't believe them because I was in the Big Brother house for literally 3 months. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, how on earth can like 2 weeks be harder than 3 months?
Yeah,
So I
unfortunately,
didn't believe them, but they were right. They were right. It was Traitors was a much more intense experience, but I loved it.
I have searched far and wide for your season, but I cannot for the life of me find it. Not on Crave, not on Nouveau.
I know it's not available.
It's lost media.
Because Nouveau only keeps the most recent Big Brother Quebec season on their platform.
Yeah, like it's
And
literally
part of the
3,
reason-
4, and 5, and not 2.
Wait, they have 3, 4, and 5?
Yeah,
I'm gonna message them because that is erasure.
the people want to see you play.
Yeah, that's so. Oh my God! Like now, I'm actually pissed to hear that. Also, I'm also pissed that Traitors Canada is only available in Canada.
Yeah, I don't know
Like,
how the people worldwide get to see our iconic roundtables and
I mean,
whatnot.
they have their methods,
They,
but I
yeah.
think, but this should be legally available everywhere. I mean, like, you know, in the U.S., like on Peacock, they have like Australia, UK. Why don't they have like? It doesn't make
And on
sense.
Crave, we have all of them
Yes, we have
from
all of them.
UK to New Zealand to now we have India and Hungary. Like we have
And I
all
just
of
think it's
them.
in CTV's best interest to like get eyes on Canadian programming because they've done an amazing job. Like I do think I really I mean I know of course that I'm biased, but I personally believe that Traders Canada is one of the best franchises, and I know from like all of the like Reddit threads and everything that like the hardcore fans of the global franchise also really love Traders Canada.
It's
So
perfected the craft. I think there has not been a dud season of Traders Canada. As I'm watching season 3, I can tell it's going to be a season we look back on and say that's another great season. Like
yeah, I totally agree. Like, I think they're doing something really special. I think Corinne's hosting is also really unique because she's really playing this character and her outfits are phenomenal. Like, I just think the Traders Canada is doing such a good job of making it their own while still obviously being very true to the game. And when you consider that like Traders in general is just so popular all over the world, like I can't understand why CTV has not made it available internationally. Big Brother, Survivor, Traders, Drag Race. These are shows and formats that are beloved all over the world, and
hmm
fans of these franchises cannot get enough.
no,
They want to watch every version they can get their hands on. So,
literally.
like, why not make that easy?
Exactly. And same thing goes for Traders Quebec. I think it's such a little
Yes, just
known.
put those subtitles on.
Literally, you do that and it opens up a whole world of fun.
Absolutely,
Because I don't see
absolutely.
enough people talking about last season was amazing and the first season as well, but like last season was amazing, like Audrey from Survivor Quebec and like the Traitors, like the kind of 3 women in the conclave, like
Yeah, yeah, no,
they
to
were
me it's just
killing it.
absurd. Like you put all this money and all of this hard work and talent into these really great shows. Like these are great products. If every other version is available internationally, it can't be that hard.
Right. So one thing to talk about when it comes to Big Brother Quebec and Traitors, we have Coco, somebody who's from your original, domain. And I once again I didn't get to see her season either, but how do you think her gameplay? Because I know she's been hailed as one of the best Big Brother Quebec players.
Yes.
How do you think her game is translating, and do you think she's living up to her hype?
Well, Coco's a really good friend of mine,
Yeah,
so I love Coco on a personal level. So of course I'm rooting for
of
her.
course.
Even though I do think, as she has said on the show, like Kevin really fucked her
Screwed her.
over.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if that thing with Kevin didn't happen, um, like I would put my money on Coco.
We see her like operating flawlessly even on her back foot. Imagine what would happen if she was all firing at all cylinders.
Exactly. And the perfect example that I can give you is that on season 5 of Big Brother Célébrité, which was a mix of all stars
Okay.
and new players, except like more like because I feel like Traders Canada doesn't really like kind of address the fame level
Yeah.
of some of the contestants. So
Yeah.
like to me when I watch, and also it's kind of a test, or it's like it's kind of a sad reflection of Canadian entertainment in the sense that even the people who are really big are normies. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like on my season, I didn't know who anyone was. Like, and even on this season, I don't think anyone knew who anyone else was except for maybe Venus and Omar because Survivor is so
It's
big.
so ubiquitous because it has the U.S. audience.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's not a coincidence that Omar and Venus were like the most recognized by their
Right.
fellow
You got to
players.
do the math, but
Yeah, you got to do the math. But so there was this one week on Big Brother Quebec season 5 where Coco was in serious danger
okay.
because Coco people watched her first season, and on her first season I cannot even tell you how much she dominated her season. Like when it came to gameplay, like no one else even came remotely close to Coco. Like no one was on Coco's level. And even on the All-Star season, no one was on Coco's level. So everyone knew that Coco is a major threat. We need to get Coco out. And there was this one particular week where everyone had the golden opportunity to get Coco out. Like, that was the move to make. It was so obvious. The writing was on the wall. And Coco managed to talk her way out of it and literally got people to vote for someone else. And then she ended up making it to the final three.
Like, for the second time.
For the second time. Like, and I would say that in that Big Brother week especially, that was all Coco. You know? Like, whereas, like, on the Traitors, I do think that she's playing an amazing game. But there are also things contributing to her success. So, like, for example, after Kevin's banishment, when it was so obvious that it had to be Coco next, like, and Coco did an amazing job defending herself at the table.
Very calm and
But
collected.
but I don't think that that would have been enough. The thing that also really got Omer out was Rhea's speech. She had Rhea doing so much heavy lifting at that table, you know? That was like a gift from God.
Yeah, and it was
like,
Rhea doing work in spite of herself that would get her banished the next episode.
Yes, exactly. So, like, there's so much that is also, like, I think we also have to acknowledge that there is a dimension of the Traitors that is absolutely just pure luck. Like, Coco was so lucky that Rhea went off on Omer because Coco didn't orchestrate that with her, you know?
No.
That was just Rhea's own theory. And even though Rhea's boomerang theory made absolutely no sense, it was really well branded.
Yeah.
You know, like, it was so catchy. Like, oh my God, a boomerang. Like, it has to be that.
You give
know?
something a name and people will follow.
Exactly. Which was amazing. But, like, you know, like, that really saved Coco. And I don't think that without that boomerang, I mean, I don't know, because the vote between Coco and Omer was already so close. You know, it was like one or two people off. And even just like Rhea's power over Jericho, which was a swing vote because Jericho was so convinced that it was Coco, but he only changed his vote because of Rhea. Like, all of these things are luck.
Coco was putting the work in.
Absolutely.
But there was much more to it.
But on Big Brother, that week where she was going home and managed to save herself, that was literally all her.
Yeah.
There was nothing working in her favor that week. There was no element of chance. Like, she dug herself out of a hole, and it was truly the most impressive thing I've ever seen on any reality show that I've watched.
Kudos to Coco. Let's move on to the other traitor in the turret, Venus, Valfa from Survivor. How familiar were you with Venus's game before the Traitors?
Not at all.
No?
Same thing with Omer. I kind of binged some Survivor seasons during the pandemic because I had ran out of things to watch. But it kind of just all went in one ear and out the other. And so all to say, I didn't know anything about their game. I did know a little bit about Kevin's Big Brother game because when I was doing my season of Big Brother, when I left the house, the Big Brother Canada season was still going on. And I was still kind of in like a Big Brother like mindset. So like I wanted to watch it and see how it differed from my experience. Because I had never watched any Big Brother Canada, hence why I did not know who Netta was. I didn't know anything about Netta's game. And I feel like the only person besides Kira who knew about Netta's game was Kirkland. And it's just so funny because that's like the one real piece of information that Kirkland had, and he didn't really share that much. And it's just like, God, I just wish he would have just taken me aside and been like, you have no idea what Netta is capable of. We can never trust her. But yeah, no, so I don't really know anything about Venus's game, so I can only really go off on what I'm seeing on this season. And I don't know, it's a mixed bag, you know? Like, I think there are some moves that she's making that are really great and impressive and super strategic. And then there are moments where I think she's doing like a really bad job.
Yeah.
And again, I think that I think the only way that we can actually assess whether a traitor is doing a good job or not is based on how many faithfuls are picking up on them. And I think that Venus has been getting heat from like at least a little bit from the beginning, you know, like again, Meredith clocked her from like, you know, day 2. Hollywood Jade is onto her as well.
Shaughnessy was onto her.
Shaughnessy, Chala now in episode 7 after seeing Coco and Venus in the hallway talking, like Chala is so onto Venus.
Yeah.
So I don't think she's doing the best job, especially when I do compare it to Kira and Netta, who again, for 7 episodes, no one ever said Kira or Netta.
That was not just a not in the episode thing. That was not in the house at all. Not in the manor.
Exactly. It's not just in the edit. Like, I'm sure that some people on their one-on-one conversations might have said Netta once or twice, or Kira. Kira never, honestly. Kira, truly, no one ever said Kira's
She was
name.
so well insulated, and I just want to say that goes to show how good of a job Netta did. Because how do you get Kira banished when she's like just untouchable?
Well, exactly. But which is why we should have also known it was Netta.
Yeah.
Afterwards, it was so obvious, but
Right.
again, can't do anything about that now. But but even before the Kevin roundtable happened, people had their suspicion on Coco as well. You know what I mean? Again, Meredith clocked it from the beginning. There were a few other people I don't remember now, but like, and it's not to say that it was like people had diehard theories about Coco, but like she was also popping up on people's radar before the Kevin thing. There are moments where I think this group of faithfuls are really great, and I'm like, yes, oh my god, you're clocking it. Yes, this is great. And then other moments where it's just so crazy because they've clocked it, they have the information, and then they discard it.
Yeah, they're like a fish that's about to bite on the hook, and then they could just go swim the other direction.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's the infuriating thing about this year's group of faithful. Like, I think the infuriating thing about my season was that we were loud and wrong. And we were often never even really close,
Mm-hmm.
And this season, like you just said, perfect analogy, like they are so close. And then, like a fish, they just get short-term amnesia and they look at something shiny on the other side of the room and just focus on that instead of focusing on the actual theories that they've been building. It's like they build all this information, all this theory, and they're actually right, and then they get distracted.
Yeah, we've got a lot of Finding Dories over here.
Yes.
And so, speaking of loud and wrong faithfuls, as somebody who's been bestowed that title time and time again online, sorry.
No, I own it. I love it. Honestly, I think that was the other thing that I forgot to say. Like, I was starting to say it earlier and I forgot to finish my thought. But, like, Netta came to win, and I came, like, just to have the best and most fun time possible,
Yes.
And I got to. And I think also, like, as an entertainer, like, I'll also be transparent. It's like, in your dream of dreams, you hope to make it to the end so that you're a
Oh,
substantial part of the show.
totally.
Because I'm an entertainer, and like I want to be on a TV show. Like, that's part of it. I can't deny that.
Same
and
thing. Like,
and I would not have made it to the end if I was an Omer. And I
right.
DM'd Omer after he got banished because I was really sad.
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing an amazing job. And I told Omer, I'm like, you're the faithful I wanted to be. Like I wanted to be the one whose theories were so on it, whose reads were like, bullseye. But if I had been, it would have been used against me in some way, in the exact same way that it was used against him. So like, if I was getting it right, if I was like, even if I was right and quiet, if I was wrong and quiet, like I was like, no one ever doubted the fact that I was a faithful. So if I wasn't loud and wrong, I would have been murdered so quickly. As much as I'm telling you, like, I'm an entertainer, I want to be on TV. Like, I think the only time, like, having done Big Brother, I kind of learned the art of the confessional,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a comedian, so I can do a one-liner. Like, I can think of, like, things that, might have a good chance of remaining in the edit.
Right.
But like I can also tell you that like when it came to playing the game or even the things at the round table, like I was just so in the game that I wasn't even thinking about like what this is gonna be.
Right.
Like because also I think like I hate it when people are on reality TV and you feel like they're producing themselves.
Exactly. I do.
Like I really
hate
don't like
the
that, and I can
manufactured.
yes, and I can honestly say like I was not producing myself. Like I was just so into the game, with all its challenges. Like I was so invested in the traitor hunt, Like I can't even imagine trying to like produce myself,
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember when I was on Big Brother Quebec, like I found this out like sort of like midway through, but like I was on with other comedians and I won't name names, even though it's probably obvious to anyone who's watched the season. But like, there was one comedian who was like literally like writing down material for the confessional,
Oh.
and just like everything was so thought out. And I just like, that person is a great person and I really enjoy them. But like, as a viewer, that kind of shit turns me off.
It's disingenuous, and I've seen the same stuff, like, I'm not gonna name names, but maybe people could figure it out. On the most recent season of, I don't know if you watched it, the most recent season of US Big Brother, I could tell there was some people where it's like, you see on the live feeds, like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and this is gonna be at the veto ceremony, and I'm gonna, make a little blow up here, and it's like, we just want you to blow up naturally, like, we want...
That's why I'm not the biggest fan of Traitors US, because these are all reality people or public figures in some capacity, and they are literally only there for the camera time.
Right.
At least that's what it feels like to me. And I feel like they are always producing themselves. I feel like they don't even give a shit about the game. They just care about creating drama to get camera time. Whereas like for me, and I'm not trying to make myself sound like superior. I'm just saying my approach literally was that like I would say that like 70% of me was like my motivation for wanting to do it was the game, and 30% of me was like, it's a great opportunity for me as an independent artist to get some visibility.
Exactly.
But even my motivation to do the show for visibility, that didn't factor into my gameplay.
No, it's separate.
Like my gameplay was strictly about going off my theories, other people's theories, working with my fellow faithfuls, like just being so in the game. Where I feel like when I watch the US version, I feel like they always have one foot or even often both feet like outside of the game, and they're just thinking about like, oh, this is my show.
Yeah, it's like a spectacle almost.
Yeah, and I find it really disingenuous, like you said, that's the perfect word, and just kind of insufferable. Like that's why I love the UK version, and even Traitors Canada. Like again, even though half of the players are public figures in some capacity, that really doesn't come through. Even the people who, like even on this season, like the Survivor players, the Big Brother players, they're there for the experience of the game. And I think that really shows because they lose themselves in the game.
Just like we saw with Kevin. And I think even the non-gamers, like let's say Cara and Sarah Nicole, who are public figures, but they're not known to be gamers, they're still putting their everything in this game, and I respect that so much.
Me too, because I don't even, like, when I'm watching them, I don't even think about the fact that they are public figures. It doesn't even occur to me. But when I'm watching the US, I'm, like, very aware of the housewife personality.
Right.
Because they're milking it. You know what I mean? They're treating it like as if they are on Housewives.
Like, they're treating it like, okay, Housewives is required reading for this course, and I'm like, I haven't seen that. I just want to see you on the Traitors. I tuned into the Traitors.
Yes, exactly. Like, they're always dropping their catchphrases, and like they're talking about their beef with XYZ, and I'm like, I don't even know who you are, let alone who XYZ is.
No, this is
and
too much homework.
And I hate that. It's too much homework. That's why I love Traitors Canada, because just said, like, even the people who have some sort of previous reality TV experience, they're not bringing that into this game. Like, they're coming at this fresh, and they're playing this game for what it is.
Or even if they do, it's minimal, and it's not,
so minimal.
Yeah.
And I think that the only time that it ever comes up is just in terms of like, okay, how good of a liar is this person?
Right.
And that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it makes sense to sort of like, if you had watched Kevin's season, you know that he is capable of acting. You know that he is capable of manipulating, and that's useful information.
Okay, who do you think is playing the best right now? Faithful or Traitor?
Yeah. I think it's still Coco.
Yeah?
I really don't know if she'll be able to fully get, like, the stink of Kevin off her game.
Yeah.
But if anyone can do it, it's Coco. And I think, even though I wouldn't put actual money on it, I do think there's still a chance that she could win. Because even in this most recent episode that I just watched, episode 7, like, Coco's approach to be like, you know what? I'm just gonna have fun with people and I'm gonna entertain them. I'm gonna distract them with how fun I am, with how much fun I am to be around. And that is the way to do it. You make people love you and then they become blinded to your dark side.
I love that strategy.
Yeah, and I love that. And that's the thing. Like, I think that's what differentiates definitely me and Coco, especially. Like, Coco is so intentional as a game player. That is the key to almost every reality game. You gotta make people love you, but that's the other thing. It's like, you can't make people love you. But Coco is lovable, you know? And I, like, don't want to, like, say, it's such a weird thing to say, but, like, I think that for me, I won't say that I'm lovable, but I will say that I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Yeah.
And I'm a really open person. And I love connection and I live for that. And I think that that comes through. And I think that as much as there's another side of me that is very introverted and actually very scared of meeting new people, there's something, I think, maybe in that fear and that vulnerability that makes people connect with me that, again, I can't control. It's just who I am, you know? I think what I'm learning now is that I need to take my natural ability to connect with people and infuse that with gameplay.
Okay, and then so Coco, is there any other players, maybe a faithful you think?
Well, I think Hollywood Jade
Yeah.
is doing a great job too. As much as the shade towards season 2 annoys me sometimes, I do think Hollywood is doing a really good job. I think Hollywood is a little bit guilty of ditching their own theories for like the new shiny thing. Like, I think that if they would like take their investigations, their current investigations, and just deepen them instead of being distracted by like the new theory, they would be so on it. Like, I feel like Hollywood is so invested in traitor hunting that I wouldn't imagine that they would be so easily swayed.
Yeah, I do think Hollywood does one of the best jobs of not playing into that personal. Like, they're not about the bullshit, they're about playing the game.
Exactly. So my wish for Hollywood is just to continue to be focused, but I think there's a really good chance that Hollywood is making it to the end. But I don't really know what Dom's doing, to be honest.
He's only now in the last couple episodes shown himself to be like a competent player. I mean, he's only been shown in the last 2 episodes.
I think that he's very lovable.
He is.
I think that everyone loves him. He's super charming, but I don't really know what he's contributing to the game.
No,
I think he's helping people, like he's helping Venus, he's helping Hollywood, but I don't really know what he's doing for himself. So that's why I have a hard time envisioning him making it to the end, because I think that he's a very easy traitor kill. And I think Meredith was doing a great job for episode 1 to 3. And I love her. Like, she's still one of my favorite players to watch. Like, I love Meredith a lot. She's definitely one of my favorites.
And she's feisty.
She's feisty and emotional and vulnerable and all of those things that I love in watching a reality TV person. But I think that her gameplay is getting weaker. Like, I think she's getting lost because she was so good in the beginning. She was like on to Coco, on to Venus. Like, I felt like she was being really strategic. Her reads were absolutely correct. But I feel like the game has gotten the best of her, and she's now just very confused.
And I can feel almost that I see the wear on her face that the game is
Yes,
putting
I
on
do
her.
see the wear, and I understand it because I felt the same way. And that's the other thing too. Like, I know that I came across as like very confident at the round table, and I was like in my theories, but to be very honest, like, my theories were coming more from a place of choice than instinct, you know, because I think that after we got Kirkland so wrong, I just didn't know anymore. Like, I just didn't know what to believe. So, like, I was really leaning on, like, Melinda a lot in terms of, like, theories.
Yeah.
And I would just adopt Melinda's theories as my own and just sort of, like, almost like, you know what, you just kind of have to choose. And I think that's what we're seeing. Like, even with Hollywood, we're seeing like him being sort of like second guessing his theories and like going off on things that make no sense. Whereas if he would just stick with what he really believes and just kind of go for it, like almost like a to-do list, you're gonna get to Venus. You're gonna get to the right answer.
Yeah, it's almost like, let's put Lizette's confidence and, you know, focus and stubbornness in Hollywood's head, and then we have the perfect player.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. But Hollywood does have the confidence, though. Doubt is the enemy in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you are wrong, it's okay, but just don't, you kind of have to like, I don't know, it's tough because there's no one strategy that's going to work 100%,
Yeah.
you know? I think the only faith that the faithfuls have, or the only hope that the faithfuls have, is get a group of 3 to 4 that you really trust. And
Mm-hmm.
even if you're wrong, it doesn't matter. Just go through your list and vote them out one by one.
And then it's you make it to the end, and then you have a fraction of a shot to maybe get it, and maybe you don't.
Exactly. But whereas if you're constantly being manipulated and you're constantly being wishy-washy with your theories, you risk just going in circles and becoming really lost.
Yeah, it's like the same
And I
thing
feel like
with
that's what I'm seeing with Meredith.
yeah, it's the same thing with almost every social strategy show. Like an alliance is powerful, and it will get you to the end. Like
It's really, really powerful.
it's like a almost like an anthropological things. Like people need
Yeah.
each other.
Yes, exactly. And I do think that like we're gonna see more and more of that in future seasons. I thought we would see more of it this season, but we haven't. I think Faithfuls are still in the traitor hunting mindset versus the alliance mindset, at least in
hmm
this season. But
Um,
luckily on my season of Traitors, the jackpot wasn't too high. Like,
yeah.
still would have been an enormous money for
Thanks a
me.
lot, Cedric.
And we all
So
understood Cedric. I would have done the same thing. Like, he should absolutely take it. He'd be an idiot not to take it.
it's like it's not much you can say against him as opposed to what Michael John did with the shield.
Which made no sense.
No, I still to
I
this day I
still
don't know
don't
what he was trying to
understand
do.
that.
I talked about this on the podcast last episode, and I made a whole TikTok about it. Why would you not take the shot at Sarah Nicole?
It doesn't make sense because, like they had said in the previous episode, even if Sarah Nicole has a shield, it will still be great to cause confusion. Sarah Nicole was the move regardless of whether she had the shield or not, because Shaughnessy, unfortunately, like her murder had no impact on the game. And I think actually in the long run, it's gonna hurt them because I do think I can see Sarah Nicole and Hollywood at the end. And let's just say they had chosen Sarah Nicole, obviously she would have been murdered. Then you could have been like, well, the traitors had to be someone in that group of 4 because they knew who had and who didn't have a shield.
Right, and it would have been too juicy of an opportunity, and that would be something that would finally put Hollywood on the back foot, which we have not seen him on his back foot this whole game. He's been, the person always on the offensive at the round table, and also it seems like he's been protected or somewhat protected by his shield like a majority of the time.
Yeah, but that's why I do like I think there are similarities between me and Hollywood and our game and our approach, even though he's obviously getting it way more right than I did.
Yeah.
But I do think that yeah, I think that he has a good chance of making it to the end.
But let's say you can say either Venus or Coco or both of them. Who do you want the shield to end up with? Like for their game, who do you think it's best to be discarded tonight?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, I do think it's still Sarah Nicole.
Yeah?
Especially for Coco, I think it's really in Coco's best interest because there are so many people, as we've seen, that have literally taken Coco off their list. Even Jericho. Jericho, like, literally was like, I don't think it's Coco at all anymore. And even Meredith said that, you know? So the only person, like, Sarah Nicole is the one leading the charge on Coco. Sarah Nicole is the one who, at the end of the game, is going to remind people that we cannot trust Coco.
Right.
I think that if Coco gets rid of Sarah Nicole, I mean, I like that would
Who's
get
stopping
so
her?
exciting. That would get so exciting because then I do actually think that Coco would have a real shot at winning.
And then that leaves the door open to Venus is now the only one who's tasked with putting sus on Coco, and then it becomes, a third traitor on traitor. What's going to happen there?
Yeah, exactly. But I think Sarah Nicole is the biggest danger to Coco's game.
I think she is one of the big players as well.
And because Coco's my friend, like, obviously that's who I'm invested
Yeah.
in. So, like, I don't really care about Venus's game, to be honest.
Fair.
So, like, when I'm thinking about who the traitor should murder, I'm really thinking about who Coco should murder.
But
And
I think also for Venus, it could be a benefit. Like, I know she is trying to still plant the seeds of Coco, but I think Sarah Nicole going home as a good, vocal, helpful, faithful will benefit both the traitors.
I think so, too. Who do you think they should murder?
I mean, it was funny because had this twist not happened, they were intending to kill Shala, who had a shield. So that would have been bad for the game. But I do think Shala is such a strong player, and we saw Shala like clock their tea.
Yes.
It was
In
really
the
bad. Like in
hallway.
the hallway, it was hilarious when Venus is talking to Coco and can see Shala and says, "Oh, Shala," and then Coco's like, "Oh no, we can't give it to Shala," thinking that Venus meant to throw out Shala's name. No, and so like now Shala's looking at the two of them and conversing with Meredith.
Yeah.
And they could really pose a threat. Shala could pose a threat to the Traitors. So I think
Absolutely.
if you could
That's a good.
somehow get it in Shala's hands, that would be ideal.
You're right. Definitely. I
But I don't
think
know how they
yes.
would do that.
Knowing my brain, if I was in that manner that night, I don't know if I
And
would
you've
have
had a
figured out
couple
the
glasses
math.
of wine.
Yes, and you're already exhausted and you just had the emotion of like getting rid of Jericho. The next two murders need to be Sarah Nicole and Chala.
Yeah, those two I think are like top priority.
And I would
Hollywood, I
include
don't know.
Hollywood, yes. But because if Hollywood makes it to the final table, I think I don't mean there's a good chance that
Nobody's voting for him.
yeah, like he really is among the most faithful of the faithful.
So you've got to like know for sure that Hollywood doesn't think you're sus if you want to go to the end with him. You've got to be his final two, but I don't know who his final two is. Is it Sarah Nicole? Is it Dom? Is it like I have no clue.
I really don't know either, but that's what I'm saying. Like this season feels like everyone's playing quite individually.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. I don't feel like the faithfuls this season are really playing as a team.
Because that's their power. Their power is their numbers.
Exactly. And I feel like they didn't really do that this year. And
Yeah.
even on my season, we didn't really do it. Like I feel like that was always something that I was trying to explain, like of this idea of like working together. But it's hard. It's hard to rally people
It's
together.
super
Honestly, it's
hard.
really, really hard.
Okay, who do you think could get banished? I mean, we don't know who's getting murdered, but who do you think could be banished next episode? Who's on the hot seat?
Oh my God. I think like that's the thing with Canada. It's every week is so unpredictable in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like who's gonna get heat on them because again, even my season and this season too, like there is this tendency to abandon the fleshed out theories for the new theory, for the
Yeah,
new shiny thing.
yeah.
So that's what makes Traders Canada always really difficult to predict. But I think like if Jamal is still there, I think he's gonna keep going for Kara.
And it's gonna backfire?
Well, it might backfire, but I think there's a good chance that Kara could get like. But I think also there's a lot. I feel like, especially with the Jericho banishment, there's heat on Meredith too now.
I'm worried for
People are
her.
not happy with Meredith,
Yeah.
and Lizette, who I love, is like very anti Meredith and Shala.
And now Lizette is low-key back in my good graces. Like, I think she was doing a little too much with, like, especially with the Omer table. Like, when clearly Shala's not going home there. Like, pick a side. Like, you could save somebody's life here who's
But
a
it's
faithful.
so funny.
It
It's
is
so
funny, though. And it's funny seeing
Like-
everyone get, like, just fed up with her.
Yes, and I love it. I think Lizette is so fun. But I think that now there's less and less people. Like next week we're gonna be episode 8.
That's crazy.
So like I think the people who are loud and confident, like Lizette, like Hollywood, their influence I think is going to sort of dictate the next couple of banishments.
And I do think I could see Meredith going home. You're right, actually. That's a fair prediction. I'd say Meredith, and I hope not because I'm a big Survivor fan. I do see a world in where Venus goes next.
Oh my God.
I would hate
Yeah,
that, but
that's you're right. I forgot about that. It is very plausible.
I do think there is a world where she goes home next because I don't know. It just seems like her manipulation tactics are not as effective as they once were.
Yeah, I agree with you. And also, again, like she's playing it too dumb, and people know she's smart.
Yes.
So and so if she's getting dumber as the game goes on, that doesn't really make sense. So I think you have a really good shot of being right.
So do you envision one of the two traitors making it to the fire?
I think there's a version where they both make it to the fire.
And do you think, because this is a big like motif I'm seeing in a lot of the recent seasons, do you think they're going to stick together, or do you think they're going to have a little civil war?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, and I think that that's what Kira, Netta, and Michael John did so well, even though Michael John didn't always make it easy. But like, if the traitors work together, The faithful, again, will literally have nothing real to go on.
UK season 3. Did you watch UK season 3?
I did, yes.
Linda and Mina work together
Well,
so well.
yes!
And I think they could have taken it if Linda wasn't a little too obvious. But then when Mina recruits Charlotte, I think, oh, Charlotte's a competent player. They could win the game. And then Charlotte backstabs Mina when they could have very well went to the end together and won.
I totally agree. So I think that if Coco and Venus can stick together, there's a good chance. Although, I just think that if Coco in any formulation makes it to the final fire, if I imagine myself in the position of one of the players in this game and I'm a faithful, I don't know how you could ever trust Coco enough to end the game with her at this point. Or it could be Dom, because
It
Dom
could be
doesn't
Dom.
Dom doesn't really have a plan, and he doesn't really seem too invested. So Venus can string him along and convince him that Coco is a faithful.
And he will choose her over Coco. So if Venus gets cocky and wants to play Banish again, which
Yes.
you should always do, I guess, at the final three.
I think so too, yeah.
Then Dom will pick her.
And Dom, to me, seems like the kind of guy who's just kind of going along, like having a good time. He's chill, he's hanging out. He's got his girl Venus. He's having fun with Venus.
That's a factor into whether or not he'll trust her then. Like, is he really infatuated with her? Is he using her like she's using him? Like, would he be blinded by some sort of infatuation? I don't know.
I think it's not necessarily even like, I think he could be. I don't know. I didn't see whatever reality show he was on before, so I don't know what he's like as a person. But like, based off of this season, if it's not like infatuation, I think he would at least be blinded by good times.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Venus offers good times.
It is a great time.
and they're having fun together. And so, like, you know, I could see him just being like at the end with Venus and just voting Coco out if it's the three of them, just because like he's been having fun with Venus.
And
it's like, it's like a Thelma and Louise thing. Like, let's just keep going.
Exactly. And if I'm Venus and, Dom gets me the win and, he's a good hang, okay, maybe, we'll hang out outside of the game after this and I'll let you hold on to one grand, maybe,
Yeah, I actually really like this. I think that I think Venus as a traitor has a better shot than Coco.
I think she does.
And so Venus, I think, really, I don't think she needs at least two, I think. I think she needs to, one, continue to make Coco believe that they're working together.
Right.
That's number one, most important
Which
thing.
Coco's not really in the position to be, like, going
Yeah,
after
Coco doesn't
Venus.
have a choice.
Yeah.
Like, Coco's got to stick with Venus.
Yeah.
So that's great for Venus. She has one vote on her side. She has Dom's vote on her side.
Mm-hmm.
She needs to get Lizette. Seduce Lizette.
Yes.
You know? Not in the literal sense of making her a traitor, but just making her feeling like your best friends.
Get her on side, yeah.
Get her on side. And I think that if Venus can get Lizette or somebody else, like if she can manage to really love bomb someone else and get them on her side, like Venus just needs three people. She already has Coco and Dom. If she can just get that third person, I think she actually could make it to the end.
She's got a final four for herself and multiple combinations. I love that for her.
Yeah, this actually makes me really excited because I was feeling like, oh God, there's like no hope that like a traitor can win. But actually, no, she can win. I agree that overall, Coco and Venus are playing better than the Faithfuls. I do agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
They have much more they're like, the Kevin thing is an enormous obstacle, and I agree that the way that they've been navigating that is truly masterful.
If you talked about this a little bit, but if there was another show that, if they called you, like a show that you would say yes immediately.
Well, there aren't many left because
You can say Traitors again.
Well, I mean, I would that's my dream.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have to do Traitors again.
I mean, I know you did the, didn't you do like an online All-Stars International and you won?
Yes, and I won.
See?
Because I learned my lesson.
Exactly.
I know it sounds crazy, especially given my history in these games, but I know that I can win.
The precedent has been set.
I know that if I get a chance to do a third one of these things, whether it's the Traitors or something similar, I really, really believe that I can win. Whereas, for example, I think there's a chance that Coco could win. I think it's a small chance, but I think there's still a chance. But I think regardless of whether Coco wins this season or not, between her 2 seasons of Big Brother and now Traitors, I don't think Coco can ever win anything.
No, it's like that kind of legacy.
She has identified as a genius game player, and she is. But it's the same way in like the last season of the US Traitors. Like all of those big players, Boston Rob, all of those people, like they got there's no chance.
It's weird because I would equate Coco, who some would say is the best to never win, to somebody. I know you don't watch Survivor as much. Have you heard of Suri?
Yes.
Suri was played 4 seasons of Survivor. On most of the time, she made a deep run. She's such a strategical powerhouse, and she just never could clutch that win. She went on the Traitors, and she dog walked everyone, and she won.
If I ever showed up anywhere and saw Suri there,
Oh.
if I ever saw Parvati, if I ever saw Netta again,
I would fangirl.
I would fangirl, but I would never trust. I think that I'm still under the radar, unless they're listening to this podcast.
Well,
But I think that I'm still under the radar, and not only am I under the radar, people think I'm really dumb as a game
Yes.
player. Now, if I do a third one, my goal is to win, of course.
Right.
But I can assure you that when I did Big Brother and when I did the Traitors, truly, my goal was really just to play the game, have fun, be entertaining, and also, like, just to live the full experience.
and play it how you wanted to play it.
And play it how I wanted to play it. And, unlike you, when I watch, I always root for the Faithfuls. Every
Really?
season I've ever watched, I always root for the Faithfuls, no lie. And so, like, when I went into it, I wanted to be a Faithful because I want to be the investigator. I want to be the prosecutor at the table. That's what's fun to me. To me, it's not fun to lie and scheme. That's stressful. That's not fun.
Oh, it must be hard. I can only imagine.
Oh my God, Netta was a wreck by the end.
Was she?
Yes. As exhausting, stressful, all of it was, I had a blast, honestly. Even on my season of Big Brother, like, I had the best time. And, like, I think both times that I went into these experiences, I really genuinely believed I would be one of the first people out,
Yeah.
But my dream for both was really just, like, I just want to have the full experience, Like, whether I win or not, to me, is, like, it doesn't even occur to me. It only occurs to me now because I've done it twice and I've learned the lessons and I know I have what it takes to win. So now going into whatever the third experience might be, like, I want to fucking win.
Where would you rank? I know it's hard to take bias outside, but me personally, I would rank Canada Season 2 as one of the top 3 seasons of the Traitors.
Thank you.
It was entertaining, it was strategical, it was emotional, it was everything I wanted from a season
And it was
of the
funny.
Traitors. And
It was
hilarious.
funny. Like, I saw this thread on Reddit that popped up like last week. Someone like who just discovered my season, and they made this thread on Reddit being like, Canada Season 2 is the funniest Traitor season of any version. Like, I feel like Season 3 is less funny, but it's more suspenseful. Like, I feel stressed watching Season 3.
Literally, I'm sweating while watching. I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
like, this
what are they
season is
gonna
really
do?
stressing me. Whereas, like, I mean, I think there were some stressful moments on my season for sure, but I describe my season as a comedy of errors.
And it was so campy as well.
Yes, it's so campy. And, like, again, as an entertainer, that's the kind of thing that I want to be a part of.
You couldn't ask for a better season.
No, and I swear, like, despite everything, and yes, it would have been nice to get, like, at least a little 30 grand, but I could not have asked for a better experience. I could not have asked for a better edit. Like, I'm just so grateful that I got to be one of the central characters on a show that I love. Like, that's so amazing. And that was not within my control at all, but it happened. So, like, I truly, at the end of the day, don't have any real regrets. All I have is just gratitude that I got to be a big part of a show that I really, really love.
If you had one thing to say to people who were going to maybe apply for season 4 of the Traitors Canada, or we're about to go on the show, what would you say?
But I actually got a lot of people DMing me, like, asking me for advice, and I swear, like, I know it sounds so cliche, but all you can do is be yourself. Like, I swear, like, that is what they're looking for, because if you're producing yourself even in your audition, like, it's just, I don't think they respond to that. anyone who doesn't have some love of the game, I feel like is almost a wasted spot, you know?
A lot of people complain nowadays about the influencers going on these shows just for clout. I
Yes,
mean,
and I do think that is a wasted spot. But I genuinely believe that that is not how Canada is casting. I think that if you are an influencer and you happen to get cast on the Traitors, it's not because of who you are. It's because of your personality and how they think your personality is going to be displayed when you're confronted with the missions and the round tables and the twists.
yeah, like Sarah Nicole is a perfect example. I was like, oh, influencer, I'm scared. But no, she is just a wonderful presence.
Absolutely. Like I didn't know who Sarah Nicole was, to be honest.
Me neither.
I mean I follow her, but I don't even really know what she does, to be honest. But I love her. Like she is so engaging to watch and she is so fun to watch. And like I guarantee you she was chosen because of that, not because of how many followers she has. I mean, I know who the casting agent is. I love her, but genuinely, she is doing an amazing job. But one thing that I really appreciate, whether it's intentional or not, is that especially on Traitors Canada, there are so many queer contestants. And I'm sorry, but queer people do make the best reality
They
TV.
do.
That's why I can't watch like any of the like Love Island shit and like it's just it all feels too fake.
Yeah, not for me. I'm just not a big fan of the dating shows in general. It's not my
Me
cup
either.
of tea.
But I would do one if I got asked.
Yeah.
Like
Occupation
farming
double.
No, I would like to do, you know, like I heard that it's not coming back, but Farming for Love.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to move to a farm, but if they did like a Farming for Love in reverse, where like farmers wanted to come live in the city,
Yeah.
like I would
a
love
little
because
Hallmark movie.
yes, because what I loved about Farming for Love was that the people were very real and they
Yeah.
were genuinely looking for love, and it wasn't all just these like generically hot people.
But I think that's all the time we have for today. It has been such a pleasure talking to you,
So much
Tranna.
fun. I'm so sorry this went on for so
Oh,
long, but
no,
I just
this is-
I literally cannot stop talking about
Me neither.
this.
Like, this is all good material. Like, I really loved hearing your insight. Like, I haven't really ever talked to somebody who's been on a show like this before in such depth and such detail, and it was really good to hear your perspective and really helpful. Just for the listeners, where can we find you, and do you have anything coming up down the pipeline?
So I mostly use Instagram, at Tranna Wintour, so everyone can find me there. I'm also on TikTok. I mean, the year's wrapping up. I have a Christmas show on December 16th.
Okay.
But after that, like, I don't know. The end and beginning of the year, like, as a comedian, is always a little bit quiet. So,
Right.
like, I'll just be resting, and hopefully next year I'll get to do my third reality show.
Yes, and we will tune in. We will be tuning in, and I'm going to be the president of the Tranna fan club.
Oh my god, thank you so much.
I'm fan of Wintour.
Oh my god, that's amazing. No one has ever said that. I love that.
I'm coining that right now.
Oh
I'm
my god,
trademarking it.
yes, you originated that.
All right, well, thank you so much, Tranna. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for joining us on Reality Rangers.
You too, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.